so glad you're here. Sing with me, come on now. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways, yes, that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for, yeah, all the many ways that love of God appears. Yes, the love of God is here. There you go.
Hello, hello everyone, and welcome to the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. That was awesome, Penelope. I'm Monique Garlington, President of the Board of Trustees here at SLCA, and I want to say to all of you, welcome. It's so glad to see you. If you're new here, we want you to know that you belong. You'll hear that theme a lot throughout our service, you belong. And if you need more information, see a member of our welcome team outside, and they'll have a special gift just for you. If you're online, please make yourself known in the chat, and someone will reach out to you online. Now that I've said the welcome, let's prepare for our affirmation. I'm going to say it first, and then I would like for you all to repeat it with me with one voice. Today, I acknowledge the divine presence of good in my life, recognizing that this transcendent power continually moves through all my thoughts and actions. It sustains, energizes, guides, and inspires me. With an open heart and mind, I welcome my higher purpose to live life with greater abundance, joy, and love, knowing it overflows with infinite possibilities. So now let's all just take a deep breath, breathe it in, release it, and let's say our affirmation together. Today, I acknowledge the divine presence of good in my life, recognizing that this transcendent power continually moves through all my thoughts and actions. It sustains, energizes, guides, and inspires me. With an open heart and mind, I welcome my higher purpose to live life with greater abundance, joy, and love, knowing it overflows with infinite possibilities, and so it is. We have so many ways to connect, grow, serve, and give, and now the lovely Mally Lapeet will come and share the announcements with you. Thank you.
Hello, all you autumnal equinoxes. La, 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 la. This is what's coming. There are beautiful autumnal-themed flowers in the front here on the stage. I'm Mally Lapeet. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm glad you're here. I serve on the SLCA Creative Arts team. If this is your first time joining us, we welcome you. We're so happy that you chose to spend your time with us. Please make yourself known in the online chat or in person so a member of our welcome team can welcome you. We have so many great opportunities to connect, grow, serve, and give, like Monique said. For more information about today's announcements and other opportunities, scan the QR code found on your monitor. Let's go. SLCA practitioner Tony Jenkins, he's in the house right there on the front row, is ready to answer any questions you have about spirituality today at 5 o'clock. Perhaps you've been curious about certain spiritual practices, but have had few opportunities to discuss them with like-minded people. Every third Sunday, Tony leads a discussion group exploring topics that may be hard to talk about with your friends and family. This is one of the most popular workshops. So if you've not joined in yet, please check it out, 5 o'clock. Have you checked out The Gathering yet? Reverend Susan Zoller, she is our speaker today, and she's in the house on the front row, is thrilled to join with you and other SLCA members as we share the wisdom of Ernest Holmes for the 365 Science of Mind Daily Affirmation Readings. This book gives us a whole year of wisdom and spiritual jewels for each day of the year. In The Gathering, we get to discuss how this wisdom applies to our daily lives and how it can help us to spiritually grow. Register today and connect with Susan Zoller on Zoom each Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Another announcement, adult study is growing, and we want you to join us each Sunday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. This SLCA practitioner-led class explores the Science of Mind magazine and is a wonderful way to connect with the community as we grow in this teaching. And it starts early, 9:30. Let's see here. Science of Mind magazine. It's a way for the community to grow together. Check out our website today and register with the Zoom link. Next Sunday, after service, the board invites you to join them in the social hall for fellowship and to answer any questions you may have. This is a wonderful opportunity to connect with our board as we share what's next for SLCA. Thank you for coming today. We look forward to visiting with you after the service in the social hall for food and fellowship. Please be sure to speak with at least 2 people you haven't met lately or haven't spoken to in a while. Remember, you belong.
With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. As I open and allow, I know right here and now, I create a world where wonders never cease. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me.
Let's just take a moment and settle into that place within. That place where I connect with the source of all that is. Infinite power, infinite intelligence. The place that has all the answers, no matter what I present to it. With each breath, I know that I settled into that knowing, into that presence, allowing peace and joy, happiness, and all the good things in life to come to me with ease and with grace. What I know is that this presence is ever beckoning to me through whispers, through prayers, through, well, upspring of thought, always in a gentle manner, letting me know that no matter what, it is there with me, sharing with me, expressing through me, as me and for me. And so it is in this moment that I settle into that place, allowing it to bring me to whatever is needed for me next. I'm ever grateful for having this ability to tap into this presence. I'm grateful for always knowing that it is on call 24/7, 365 days of the year. There is no time that God is not open and never on vacation. And so it is in this that I know all is as it's supposed to be in divine right order. I release this to the law knowing it has already received this. It is already working its good to bring this forth. And if you're in agreement with this, say with me together. And so it is.
With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. As I open and allow, I know right here and now, I create a world where wonders never cease. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. Through me. Thanks, Tony.
We are a good-looking group, aren't we? I mean, really, we clean up nicely. My name is Susan Zoller. I'm one of the ministers here at SLCA, and I'd like to tell you what this church means to me. I believe that what I learned here totally transformed my life, and it means the world to me. And so I support it as best I can at every opportunity through time, tithes, speaking. And this is our opportunity right now to give back to that which is feeding us spiritually. And I would tell you, it is an opportunity to speak your faith through action, knowing that there's more than enough. I'm so grateful we are still here, still meeting. I know there are many churches through the past few years, beginning with the pandemic, that are no longer there. So I'm especially grateful, and know that what we give, we receive back energetically in so many ways, and it does so much good. We will perhaps never know all the people who receive our message and are changed by it. So I invite you to say with me the offering, but remember, you can text to give, you can go online and give, and what am I leaving off? Checks, oh yes. Give them to me, I'll make sure they are deposited. So would you say this affirmation with me? It's up on the board. I live in a world of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
As our contributions are brought forward, would you join me in holding your hands, knowing that our energy is propelling this outward in the world to do its good and perfect work? And let's know this. Divine love moves in action through these contributions. It goes forward to bless and to prosper. It heals. It does good and perfect work for the journey that it is on. And we are knowing, each of us, that we are blessed beyond comparison by giving to that which gives to us. And so it is.
I'm anchored in the solid rock of truth. Woo. I have unshakable faith. Woo. Unshakable faith. My faith is stronger than my fear. Amen. I have unshakable faith. Unshakable faith. Unshakable faith. Unshakable faith. I have unshakable faith. Unshakable faith. I have unshakable faith. Unshakable faith. There you go. The small as a mustard seed. My faith can move mountains. Belief in possibilities moves me beyond what I can see. I'm anchored in the solid rock of truth. I have unshakable faith, unshakable faith. My faith is stronger than my fears. I have unshakable faith, unshakable faith. I stand on what I know. I lean on what I know. And I rest in what I know. That my life is in your hands. I'm anchored in the solid rock of truth. I have unshakable faith, unshakable faith. My faith is stronger than my fears. I have unshakable faith, unshakable faith. I stand on what I know. I lean on what I know. And I rest in what I know. That my life is in good hands. I'm anchored in the solid rock of truth. I have unshakable faith, unshakable faith. I have unshakable faith, unshakable faith. I have unshakable faith, unshakable faith. Thank you.
How many churches get music like this? Let's give her another hand. Well, as I told you before, my name's Susan Zoller. I'm one of the ministers here. And I'm just happy to be here today and happy that each of you are here today. And I want to acknowledge Reverend David's mother, who we all affectionately know as Gaga. Some people call her Karen. I don't. But she's here from Albuquerque helping them to prepare for their move. So a big welcome to you, Karen. Does this feel a little bit like FDR's fireside chats, but without the bad news? Really, it reminds me of that. But I was thinking about this, what I could share with you today that would be meaningful. And what I found was this past week, I was feeling a bit discouraged. I didn't realize or recognize it at first. I didn't. I have so much to be grateful for, I can tell you. I'm happily married. I'm prosperous. I'm healthy. I have 2 dogs in the yard. Life used to be so hard, and it is really easier because of what I have learned here. The list goes on and on, the reason why my life is great. But I couldn't put my finger on what was going on for me. It's just this feeling underneath, a nagging feeling that I hadn't identified. Now, as a student of religious science, or sometimes called science of mind, I know about getting quiet and going within and listening, but I just didn't feel like doing it. I didn't, you know. What I did feel like doing was going out and buying chocolate and consuming it. And while that can be fun and certainly tasty, I am recovered from an eating disorder, and I know that when I start thinking about things like that a whole lot, not just in passing, I need to stop and pay attention to what's going on. Maybe some of you have similar things. I think of that as an addictive behavior. Maybe some of you know how you want to turn and go get your crutches when the fertilizer about to hit the ventilator. So, you know, I did stop. But I want to acknowledge there is so much in chocolate that can perk you up. Really. The caffeine in the chocolate, there's feel-good chemicals, there's the sugar. I mean, really, there's a lot to pack there. But given all that, it can be hard to put down. But years ago, I entered the Atlanta Church of Religious Science and began using science of mind principles then. And I left a very destructive behavior behind. I didn't go into treatment, but it wasn't easy, but it became possible. And I want to tell you, I never fell off the wagon, but it is my experience of not having any of those destructive behaviors for years. So in order to get clear on what was going on, the first thing I had to do was be aware of shifts in my behaviors. I told you, noticing the chocolate. You know, I was repeatedly eyeing different chocolates as I went about the day, you know, but what I had to do was get them out of my purview because it was a crutch I was going to use. Doing so allowed me to feel what I was feeling, some discouragement and dissatisfaction. And when I did that, it allowed me to feel the feelings that were underneath what I was going to eat to not feel. So I began to treat for a greater idea. And what I needed to know became clear, as did what needed to be done to address the issue. It did. That's the way it works. You put it out there and it comes back to you as our experience. And it does it even when I least feel like doing it, which is the moment that I most need to do it, actually. We treat, or as we say, affirmatively pray, and what needs to be revealed is revealed. And one thing that is required is to be smart enough aware enough to realize when we're getting our answers. Absolutely. Especially when the answers we receive aren't the ones we want. Have you ever had that happen? I've only read about it. It's never happened to me, but I've heard of people that they're joking, because it became clear to me that I still had this deeply ingrained belief that there were some things in life that were going to require a great deal of effort and probably sacrifice to achieve. I was going to have to deny myself. I didn't like that. I don't consciously believe that. If you ask me, I would say, no, I don't. And there's no spiritual truth to that whatsoever. Ask and ye shall receive. You remember that. But it was an idea that had come a long time ago, many, many years as I was growing up. But as long as I allow this belief to stay in place, that is exactly what my experience is going to be. It'll be hard, it'll be tough, it'll require a lot of sacrifice. Does that sound appealing if you were going to go for a job and you saw these things? It will require sacrifice. It will require a lot of work. It will require making you unhappy. I wouldn't go for that job, not if it was the last one. But I look back and I realize I have achieved many things in my life. And so I know when I feel that dissatisfaction that it's time to go back to the basics of science of mind, because they are the very foundation of what we believe, and they work. I was having a New Thought version of a backsliding Baptist. I was. And trust me, I know what I'm speaking of. I was raised Baptist. But without realizing it, I had slipped into some old thought patterns, Some of the same old issues were circling my life again. One of those, I've dealt with you. Well, apparently, not all the way, because there they were, custom designed for where I am in life right now. I know what you need to do. I was just being lazy in not doing it. I was making excuses to myself to justify. Now, no one would know this outside of me. I hope not. But that's what I was doing. And I suddenly realized, because I just wasn't realizing what I was doing. Hey, I could have had a V8. Ken Schultz, who founded this center, was my teacher all the way through ministerial school. And he told us a story about a woman who came up to him and said, this stuff works. He said, why, yes, it does. And she said, yeah, I use it about 50% of the time. And he looked at her and said, why 50% of the time? Why not 100? She said, That was it, I find sometimes I'm going, when I'm being in that place where I'm not being very mindful. And I've heard it said, there is nothing worse than a metaphysician who is not manifesting. Because we know that it works. We know it. And to not be manifesting is saying, so on some level, it won't work here. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be disappointed. I don't want to have my faith done. I know that is true for me. When I'm not manifesting, I get a little cranky, But I gave myself a counseling session with me being the counselor and me being the counseled. And I can tell you, that is exactly when the chocolates left the building. But here in religious science, we don't believe in coincidences. I had to laugh when I read the theme for this week's talk. It's elevate your awareness. It was written solely just for me. I'm certain of that. I didn't even have a disguised duh on that one. It's just chosen for me and everybody else who needs it that thing that speaks directly to me and goes, oh yeah, that's exactly what I need to know. You know, because I had downgraded my experience. I had downgraded my awareness of what I was doing. I got to be a little numb, and the results were showing. You know, no one else knew it, but I did, and that's the main thing. I knew it. Have you ever had a similar experience? You know you need to do something, but you just don't do it, and you put it off, and you make excuses. No, no one ever has done that. Okay, well, I read about it. But is there something that you truly want in life that tends to elude you? What is it with this? What is it with that thing, whatever, that we are wanting to manifest and it just not showing up? Well, the first thing that I would say is to learn the principles and the laws of science of mind or religious science. With this information, with this great knowledge as a basis, as a foundation, we have the tools to transform our lives. We do. But you have to know what the tools are. And if you already understand science of mind, go back and go to the basics every so often. And just remember the teaching. You know, sometimes you think, I never heard of this for a moment or two, and then I, slap myself emotionally and get back with it. Because it happens. We're not going to necessarily be walking around all day. I know some people who are probably capable of that. I'm not walking around all day, in this spiritual awareness every moment. I, do regular things also. So what it says is throw out the excuses. Just let them go. Throw out the doubts. Throw out the whatever it needs to do to go. Because if you wonder why you're not manifesting, I'd say that we each have, I think everybody has their own little go-to spot that when things get tough, this is what I do. Some people go shopping, some people have sex, some people gamble or drink. There's really not much difference in the behaviors, only I don't stagger around from chocolate. But really, it's a way of not dealing. It's a way of not feeling when we do that. Absolutely. And affirmative prayer, or treatment as we call it, spiritual mind treatment, is very, very powerful. And it works. And when I began using treatment and affirmations and meditation, my life changed at a speed that I felt like I needed a seatbelt to keep me in place, because it was happening so fast. It was astonishing. Or you can be like the lady mentioned earlier, How many of us go, instead of remembering the power that we have within us? I love to say it. The Bible says that as we think, so it is. And the King James Version says it in different ways, in different places. But as a man thinketh in his heart, so shall it be. Well, women thinketh just like men do, and the results are the same. As we either, men or women, our beliefs are made manifest in our life. And that happens whether or not we realize the correlation. All of our thoughts are energetic, and I say this every time I speak. Our thoughts are energy, our feelings are energy, our emotions are energy, even the things that are unconscious that are driving it. It's energy, and it goes out there. And it goes into a quantum field, not a big 50-foot man standing by or sitting on a really uncomfortable, huge gold throne in the sky with a flunky legion of angels around checking on what everyone's doing, what body parts they're using, and who they're using them with. No, it's a quantum field of intelligence. I don't even begin to conceive of the intelligence that created our universe alone, much less other universes. It's just, but what we do is use it, because what we energetically put out comes back to us as the circumstances of our lives. Have you ever just thought about somebody a whole bunch and the phone rings and you know it's them? Show of hands, please. I want to know. Okay. You know, that's just a little example. Do you ever just think, I got to get a good parking, I got to get a good parking, and then you get a great parking place? I mean, these are simple little things, but really, it works. You know, it comes back to us as the circumstances of our lives, because that's how prayer works. And we were taught to pray believing, weren't we? Well, I will tell you, belief is like pouring gasoline on a fire. Deep belief and deep emotion really amps up our treatments. You know, we are best served when we realize what we're having faith in. Absolutely. We have to realize what we're having faith in. If your faith is in the government, then God help you. If your faith is in your family, may they be loving. May they be supportive. Whatever your faith is in, be aware of it. But I would also ask you to be aware of the fact that we are spiritual beings. We're energetically condensed down into form we can touch and feel. And we're in an energetic universe. What we think and feel matters. You know, so you might think that the logical conclusion is to stop thinking. Don't you love those old King James? They thinketh. Makes it sound spiritual. The old thinkething, sabotaging thoughts, and cleanse our consciousness of beliefs that don't serve us anymore. I still am amazed when I find the beliefs that I have that I thought were long gone, and they raise their heads, but I have the tools to deal with it because I have science of mind teaching. And I hope that you have your own, because all religions basically say the same thing about unity and love. And if your tools are working, that's wonderful. You know, but we do hold a lot unconsciously. Do you agree? Yeah, I think so. And how often it's like, I use this example because it's so perfect. A fish in the ocean who says, what water? They're in it all around. They're submerged in it. If you took them out of it, they'd die. But they say, what water? Because it's just not on their radar. It's always there. It assumes so much. You know, I ask myself sometimes, who's driving the car? Who is driving this car? Meaning me, my life. You know, you can tell yourself to notice your thoughts and feelings and notice your behaviors, and it will work. Listen to what you are saying sometimes. What's really amazing is to listen to what other people say. Have you ever noticed it's really going to be hard to do this now? I just look at a piece of bread and I gain weight. You know, you've seen this. My boss is always on my back. He's, you know, blah, 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 blah. Or the government is, and fill in the blank, whatever you want to fill in the blank. You know, what would we do if every thought and feeling that we had manifested right in front of us? Just bam. You know, this is a beautiful day. Bam. Well, there's just really not much. Bam. Dark, dreary, humid, muggy. You know, if we did that, would we be motivated to change when we saw what we were thinking right there in front of us? You know, I like lines. I'd love to see a line. Well, I'd change my thoughts real quick with the line in front of me, unless it just was purring and came up and loved on me. But I don't think I'd give it the opportunity. But if everything you thought manifested, think about it, right in front of you, I think we change. You know, are we using such words as, it's going to take a lot of work and time and effort to fill in the blank? I just can't fill in the blank. I always catch or have fill in the blank, the flu, a winter cold, whatever, allergies. You know, every time I go swimming, I get an ear infection. You ever hear people say things like that? You don't have to say anything to them, but stop chasing the whatevers, actually, and look at your consciousness and find that whatever it is and don't catch it. Don't chase it, don't catch it, let it go. I think that's really what I was saying to myself. Now, Ken, my teacher, would tell us stories as we went through the steps to becoming ministers. And he told us about this group of friends who liked to get together when he was in Manhattan. And they liked to go out on the weekends, and they'd hang out during the day, and then they'd all get ready at night. And there was this one man, when they were getting ready, he wasn't really very attractive. He was small. He wasn't muscular. He was kind of skinny. And his face was not what we'd describe as attractive. But what he did every week, he stood in front of this full-length mirror and said, somebody's going to get a lot of good loving from me tonight. And he said it again, somebody's going to get a lot of good loving tonight from me. And you know what? Of all the times they went out, he was the one who was meeting people, getting dates, and they looked at him like, you are, and here am I. Well, he just affirmed it, and he believed it, you know. He was quite a powerhouse as far as demonstration would go. But realize right now that we live in an energetic universe, and this very room is just humming with intelligence and energy. What looks like empty space between you and I is not. A simple way to prove that is bring in a little radio that's not hooked up to the internet and turn it on and tune in. You can get a radio station, or you could do the same with a TV, but not have it hooked up to the internet in any way. We are walking in an ocean of God. We are breathing in it, dreaming in it, sleeping in it, achieving in it. And everything we're thinking is coming to us. Not every little thought like, oh my God, my car's going to run out of gas. But if you consistently think something and you have a mode of thinking that something, watch what comes into your life. It's not just some random thought. It's a deeply held thought or something that you think about a whole lot. How many of you ever think about things you don't want? Raise your hands, more of you, I know that. Really, you ask a person, what do they want? Well, I don't want to be sick and old. But what do you want? Well, I just told you I don't want to be sick and old. What's the emphasis there? Sick and old. And if they think about it a lot, what do you think they're going to get? Sick and old. My mother had a horror of nursing homes. Where do you think she ended up at the end because of circumstances? In a nursing home. But she was extremely well cared for. She was. You know, what we think and feel and believe, either consciously or unconsciously, goes into this energetic field and it comes back to us. And it always responds. It doesn't go, oh, Susan, you poor thing. You really didn't want to think that. You don't want to experience. It just goes, okay. Or as the Bible says, my favorite words, yea and verily. You can tell I was raised Baptist. You know, sometimes we forget how powerful prayer is because there may be a lapse of time between we do the treatment or prayer and when something manifests. We may think it's not going to happen, and I think in a lot of the time in that interval, things don't happen because we think about how much they can't happen. Do you ever think of all the reasons something can't happen? Well, stop it. However, there's one thing different. We get do-overs. Isn't that nice in the world? How many times do you get to do a do-over? It may not be the exact same circumstances, but I guarantee you, if you're having a particular pattern in your life, it's going to continue. Isn't that encouraging? Not. I mean, really, if you're having great things happen, that's a pattern. If you're not having great things happen, trust me, it will. Here's the way to put it. If you're dating someone and you really want out of it, if you don't change your thought patterns, you're going to meet the next person who looks nothing like that person, but you're going to find out they must have the same parents. Because you want something more, you're not getting it, so you're having these opportunities over and over and over to get it. You're not being punished. I'm not being punished. The law automatically works. It doesn't work sometimes. This is not this big God standing up 50 feet with a sandy robe, long beard, long hair, like a personality would, and a personality can vary. But this works through laws, and it is invariably responding to you without judgment. So if you have a really bad idea and you really think about it a lot, you might want to change that because the law will respond. It's important to realize what we believe, what we hold in consciousness. Like we don't think that we think this, we pray this, and the manifestation takes place out here. We don't always see that. It's like some of these tribes that are very, very isolated, and this is an extreme example. They don't know that sex results in pregnancy. Not every time, but it's sex that starts that process. Now, I'm not saying any of you are experiencing that, but just think about this. It's 9 months. It's months after the occurrence, unless they're doing it very regularly, and they just may not realize, look, here's this and here's this, and here's where they meet. That may be an extreme example, but I bet you we each have an example of something kind of like that. Luckily, we get do-overs. Because every moment, every instant, Spirit is responding to us. So if you think one thing and you think it for 5 years and you suddenly decide to think something else about that, whatever it is, Spirit responds. Now, you have a lot of built-up capital in what you were thinking before, but as soon as you really accept that new belief, new idea, Spirit is working and creating it in your life. It is said that 98% of the things that we pray about are in the invisible world waiting to come to us, and we start blocking it with why it can't happen. Who's going to do this? Who's going to want that? Who's going to want to buy my car? All those things. They're doubt, and Spirit responds to those too. As I said, we lower ourselves, we downgrade ourselves when we get into that kind of thinking. It is. It's like that fish in water. Because we have held a thought in mind for so long, we don't even realize. We assume everything's like that. Do you remember the first time you spent the night at somebody else's house? You had a friend invite you over or whatever. Did it seem real strange? Did they do the same things? Did they have breakfast the same way? Did they go to bed the same way? And it may seem really, really strange. There's different ways to do things. And we have just got to accept a new idea because I tell you, Spirit will respond. Think of it like this. not one of us would allow an unacceptable driver to get in our car and take off. But how many times have I allowed the unacceptable driver in my mind to take off? But I learned better than that now. You know, the answer is simple, but it may not be easy because our thoughts and our beliefs change, but we may have to work if we've really held, you know, and I'm not talking about hard. If we've held the belief for a long time, and we've held it so long that it's just automatic, like how your family did things on the weekend. Nobody else does it the exact same way, so that's a different type of thought pattern as how this could change. But what happens is we have that opportunity to change. But if we have a lot invested over here in this particular mindset, we might have to keep affirming, keep working. But you know what? It works if you keep working it, if you stay in line. Now, you have to be in alignment with what you want. You can't say, I want to be a great athlete, go home and eat 2 pizzas and a quart of ice cream every night and expect to have a great body. Really? You know what I'm saying? Yet we do some of that, you know, with things that we are working on manifesting, we do exactly that. We got to be congruent. So are you left in the proverbial creek without a paddle if you've been eating 2 pizzas and a quart of ice cream every night? No, you're not. Keep treating, because what may happen is one day you may just suddenly think, you know, I don't like ice cream as much as I used to. And you just put it back, and you know, you may have some once in a while, but it's taken away. You might say, I'm so tired of having pizza every night. I'm gonna, you know, and then one day you might have an urge to put on some shoes and go for a walk. Whatever your level of acceptance is, that's what's gonna come in, because if we don't open the gate, it can't get in. We have to be open-minded about this. You know, we have to know that what we want is already there in the invisible, waiting to come to us. We have to know that it's already available, it's already there. And elevating our expectations is based on a belief system that says, oh, it's there. It's coming to me. It's getting closer every passing moment. When you order something from Amazon, let's just say, do you expect it to arrive? Do you? Do y'all even order from Amazon? Okay, you expect it. They tell you what time to expect it, and, you know, even can give you updates. So you expect it, and it comes. Now, I can't account for porch pirates, but, you know, that's a whole other thing in consciousness. I haven't had anything stolen. And I do order. You know, when we accept a particular outcome, it's not a wish, it's not a thought, it's not a maybe, it's not hoping, it's knowing it in full faith. Knowing it, believing it, feeling it as if it already is there. And spirit responds to this expectancy level. Comes faster. You know, do you ever find yourself accepting the mediocre, the mundane, the so-so stuff, the in life? Well, you're better than I am, because I do sometimes, and I have to change. You know, think about it. Do you believe you can achieve in that area of your life? How many of us have all these success quadrants in our life, and yet there's this one particular area that we just can't seem to get it together in? What's the belief behind that? Has to be shown, the belief, and it'll be shown. You know, I'm real clear that there are things from I didn't get an eating disorder from happiness, but, you know, that are in there that we may have so much accepted it, it's just like the air we breathe. We don't stop and think. Did you stop and think when you came in here, is there enough air in here for all of us? Are some of us going to have to leave? Make the bigger people leave because they'll take in more air, you know? No. You know, this is how Thoreau expressed it, and I love this. I don't use a whole lot of quotes because I'm going to tell you what I know to be my truth, that I've experienced and I know it works. This made a big impact on me. Thoreau said, if one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with a success unexpected in the common hours. I'm going to read that again. It's really good. If one advances confidently in the direction of her dreams and endeavors to live the life which she has imagined, she will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. Have you ever really thought about something and you just knew it? You just knew. And bam, it happens? Yeah. You know, it said if you believe you can or you can't, you're right. Absolutely. You know, so we got to watch what we say and make sure our actions line up with it, you know, because those are two different energies. Praying to express vibrant health while, you know, the old 2 pizza and a quart ice cream person is out there, you know. So what if you're a couch potato? That doesn't mean you have to stay a couch potato. Maybe it's hard to get up off that couch. You can do it. You can do it. And if you don't think you can, realize that you have to have greater faith that you can achieve, you can do. Absolutely. So let's expect more out of life. It's an elevation. Let's lift our vision. Absolutely. Elevate our expectations and see what happens. Things will change either externally or internally, and it results in a different situation. You'll begin to notice what you've been anticipating. Think about it. Are you anticipating the government's going to kill us all? That the democracy is going to fall apart? That, you know, maybe some of you are thinking, get somebody with better vision with a gun out there, which is a horrific thought. You know, what have you been expecting? Think about it, and then expect what you want to have happen. You know, you'll see what you expect. Now, becoming aware of accepting less than is just an opportunity to know something greater. It really is. It's an opportunity to call in what you really want. If you keep getting what you don't want, stop and think about what you do want. Not the obstacles, what you want. How many of you stop and think, you know, I really want to experience this? And suddenly you're seeing some of these thises, whatever they are out there. I want a red car. Then you suddenly see red cars. They're out there. Then just find out which red car is for you. Have faith and keep that. You know, expect more. And think bigger and better and grander. And spirit or God or intelligent mind or Yahweh, it doesn't matter what you call it. It is what it is. Is responding, saying yes. They say yes to everything, even if it's a bad idea. How do you think Nazi Germany got so bad? They were saying yes to what a lot of people thought about what should happen. You know, there are no limits for you, for me. There's no limits for this church. Let me tell you, there are no limits, and no matter what changes we go through, it is the consciousness that we carry that will determine the direction of our church. You know, if you think David's leaving to go be with his family is the worst thing that ever happened to us, you know, that's exactly what it may be for you. But if you say, I can't wait to see what unfolds for us next, it's going to be wonderful. You know, I can't wait till Susan speaks again because I never know what's coming out of her mouth. Neither does she. But, you know, there's no limit on world peace. There's no limit on the amount of food that can be given around the world. There's no limit of air. We can just keep breathing. But we can have better ideas about these things. We can have clean air. We can have food enough for all. We can have peace even in Gaza. We can have peace in the Ukraine. Let us believe it. Because I can tell you, Putin believes what he believes. People who don't have enough food are entrenched in there's not enough. But I bet you there's somebody out there that says, I'll always find some food. And they find it, you know. But this is not New Age mumbo jumbo. This is spiritual law I'm talking to you about. And we understand we're not praying to that big man. I want to say it again because there's something called Mama's God that on some level, we still got that in a little tiny corner of our mind, little bitty. But we're being driven by it a lot of times. Remember that. Who's driving the car? And this is not mumbo jumbo. It's intelligence that I think is so much bigger than we can ever comprehend. But know that when you pray, you get two things. First of all, you get what you prayed about, even if it doesn't look like it. And realize it may not look like it. I prayed for a relationship to heal and to come together, and man, did it break apart. And was I ever irritated? God, what are you doing up there? You know, that old Baptist up there. Well, it was the best thing that could have happened. I didn't want to see it at the time because I was entrenched in an old way of thinking about relationships. So you get what you pray about, and there's a second thing you get. You get more faith in the power of your prayer. That which created all is in all of its creations, in the molecules in the air, in the fabric of the seats, in our thoughts, our beings, our breath. And it's really working very positively for those who choose to direct this power, this God-given power inside. There's no place where God is not, and there is nothing God cannot do. Nothing. When you find yourself believing there's no way, get a bigger belief, get a bigger God. A God who responds. Because again, there is nothing that spirit cannot achieve. That is, unless we are unwilling to believe that, and we are unwilling on any level to accept life's bounties. But I will tell you, let each of us reach higher. Expect more and better. Turn away from what we desire that is not working, the ways we've tried to do it, and be open to a new way of achieving it. It's totally possible. You know, it's what we used to call at IBM, operator error, when nothing's working. In other words, it's the operator, not the machine. It's the one telling it what to do. You know, elevate your awareness and lift your experience. The sky is not the limit. I won't settle for chocolate when there's a whole feast waiting for me. Will you? No, don't. And remember this about our country. When you read things that are going on, pray for our country. Pray for our leaders, that they have wisdom and insight, that they do what is best. Just like our board has been figuring out what is best for the transition we're going through. Know that it works because it does. And that ends the lesson, and so it is. That wasn't enthusiastic enough. Let's do it again. Great ideas. Great ideas. Think something bigger and better. Yeah. No namby-pamby here. Well, as we finish this, I'd like to invite you to just go inside and focus on your breath. Feel how alive you are. Feel how the intelligence within you is doing everything needed to maintain your body right now. You don't have to direct it. There's no, now breathe, now take the oxygen to the blood vessels. No, there's an energy and an intelligence doing that for you. And I'd like to share this reading that I found today. It is just perfect for what I was thinking about and what this talk is. It's by Dorothea Gates, who used to attend church here. And she put this on Facebook. The message, the answer is already here. Your prayers have not been ignored. Heaven heard every word, every whisper, every tear. And now, the answers are arriving, but not always how you pictured, but exactly what your soul needs. You've entered the chapter called Already Done. That means no more begging, no more doubting, no more wondering when. You pray from victory, not for it. You speak as if it's finished because in spirit it already is. So today, shift your posture. Walk like it's handled. Praise like it's delivered. Rest like it's secured. Because it is. God is not a tease. Your blessing isn't lost. It's simply coming in an unexpected package, signed, sealed, and delivered right on time. Declare, it's done, it's mine, I receive it. And she ended with, and so it is. So right now, think of something that you wish to experience. And notice what thoughts come to you automatically. Do you get so excited it's coming, you're just tingling? Or do you think of all the reasons it can't happen? Know that we are spiritual beings in a spiritual world, and it's all energetic. So like a radio, change the channel and get a different tune. Know that there's no limits. You don't even have to say the same sex you were born. You don't have to be broke. You don't have to be poor. We can be vibrantly healthy and prosperous. And it doesn't even have to mean we have a lot of money, but a prosperous life is a wonderful one. Rate your expectations and see how high, if you had a graph, each of your expectations of your desires are held in your consciousness. How high are they held? We'll lift them higher. Elevate our expectations and elevate our awareness so that we know what to change, when to change it, and what to replace it with. Because it's wonderful. And it's available to everyone equally, no withholding. We've entered the chapter called Already Done. Rest like it's secured, because it is. And so it is. I would like to ask our practitioners, I forgot to call them up here, we do that but would you stand if you're a practitioner in the church? We're trained in, stand. If you're, really, if you are a practitioner, stand. We want to acknowledge you. We're not namby-pamby. I'm passionate about prayer. Are you? You want to have something happen? Look at these people. They are trained and have a lot of time learning the art and science of affirmative prayer. Pick out one if you want to have someone talk to you about something. Or if you're online, see if there's a practitioner there. Or if not, send a request to the church, and someone will contact you if you give us your contact information. So practitioners, thank you. We appreciate you. You do wonderful work. And now I'd like to call up the president of our Board of Trustees, Monique Garrington. Garlington, I said that wrong. Garlington.
Thank you. And let's give Reverend Susan another round of applause for that amazing message. Thank you. Hello again. I'm Monique Garlington, president of the Board of Trustees here at Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta, a place where messages like that and the practices, just our daily walk with these teachings just has the ability to change lives. And I can say it has absolutely changed my life in so many amazing ways. Standing behind me is the rest of our board, and I just so appreciate them for standing with me, for standing and leading with us collectively as we do the work of expanding our consciousness so that Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta can also expand. Last Sunday, I shared with you all that we would get back with you, that we had our board meeting. So there was the announcement last week that Reverend David he and his family would be returning to Portland and that we would be transitioning. So we promised you that we would get back with you. We had a board meeting on Tuesday, and today I want to just update you on some things on how we will proceed. And I've got a lot here. I won't read it all, but if you want to take some notes, you can. So a lot of you are asking, well, when is Reverend David's last day? How long will Reverend David be here? Well, Reverend David will remain on staff through November 30th. And he will be here with us at SLCA on the following Sundays. So Sunday, September 28th, Reverend David will be here in person, and October 5th, Reverend David will be here. So that's Sunday, September 28th, and October 5th. Now, on October 5th, we're going to gather as a community to celebrate Reverend David's incredible service to SLCA. And he also has a birthday on October 6th. So we're going to use that time to honor both his spiritual leadership for us here and to just celebrate his life. So we want you all to be here, of course, next Sunday, September 28th, but we want you to be here October 5th so that we can just send him off in style. Now, Reverend David is going to return again on November 16th to officiate the ordination of Reverend Jean. So he's going to officiate that service. You've seen several announcements about Reverend Jean being ordained as a minister, so Reverend David will be back on the 16th to be a part of that celebration, and we want to see you here also. So what's our path forward? In light of Reverend David's departure, we've been in thoughtful communication with our home office at Centers for Spiritual Living. We refer to it as CSL. Our intention is to navigate this transition in full alignment with CSL's guidelines, with our community's bylaws, and most importantly, with Spirit's unfolding vision for SLCA. Now, this past week, our executive director, Shannon Pruitt, and myself met with Reverend Nan Bankston. She's the Senior Director of Global Support Services at CSL. She offered so much wisdom and clarity for us to help us discern our next steps. So we're just so grateful that we're a part of a parent organization that has been through this before with many of the centers, and we lean on them for guidance. So what's our immediate next step? The board is in full agreement that effective December 1st, our associate minister, Reverend Jean, will lead our community through our annual meeting in March 2026. So I'll repeat that. So effective December 1st, our associate minister, Reverend Jean Bell, will be leading our community from December 1st through our annual meeting, which will be in March 2026. At that meeting, at our annual meeting, the membership will be presented with two options. Number one, we can open candidacy for the senior director position. Number 2, we could vote to affirm Reverend Jean as senior director. So again, at the annual meeting in March of 2026, there will be 2 options. Open candidacy for senior director position. If the community wants to do that, that will be an option that we will present, and we will present the option to vote to affirm Reverend Jean as senior director. Reverend Nan encouraged us to move with intention, not haste. She stressed that on that call. Don't be hasty, move with intention. She advised us to allow space for prayer, for reflection, for adjustment, for us as a board, for our practitioner corps, for our associate and staff ministers, and for our beloved community. And we have spiritual practices and principles that we can lean on during this time. So we don't have to rush. We want to move with intention. Now, the nice thing about this is that we are blessed to have Reverend Jean ordained through CSL and deeply committed to SLCA, ready and able to guide us during this transition. Reverend Nan also confirmed that our practitioner licenses held through SLCA remain fully intact and without issue. So God has already gone ahead of us. Spirit has already aligned this thing for us. Now, how can you support SLCA during this time? I've got 6 things you can do because we all want to know, what do we do? What do we do? What can we do? Well, number 1, attend Sunday services in person if you're in the Atlanta area, and if you're online or if you're away, if you're not in Atlanta or if you're away, then you can attend online. But lean in. Lean in. During times of transition, it's easy to sometimes just move away. But we want you to lean in. Be here. Be present. Number 2, vision for SLCA. See it thriving. See us expanding. See us evolving. Number 3, treat daily. Offer affirmative prayer for our community, staff, ministers, practitioners, board for our community. Treat daily. That's something we can all do. Offer affirmative prayer. That is one of our cornerstones as members of Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. Treat for Reverend David and his family. And we have Gaga here today with us. Treat for them that Spirit continues to guide them with ease, abundance, and grace. Number 5, share your suggestions at info@slc-atlanta.org. So if you have suggestions, you can send them to us via email at info@slc-atlanta.org. We welcome your input. And as Mally shared in the announcements, next Sunday, the board will be here after service during the social hour if you just want to reach out to us in person. We're going to make ourselves available to you as much as we can. Number 6, meet with Shannon by October 31st and renew your pledge for 2026. Again, meet with Shannon by October 31st and renew your pledge. And if you're not pledging and you want to, meet with Shannon as well. This will help us to plan for a balanced budget going into 2026. Now, what will the board be doing? We'll be doing all of the above, 1 through 6. Our focus remains on ensuring SLCA becomes a financially sustainable community. This will allow us to offer a compelling package should the community choose to open the senior minister position in the future. So while we'll be doing 1 through 6, we will also be working very diligently to be sure our community is financially sustainable. Because should the community decide to open this position for candidacy, we need to be sure that we have a package that's compelling and sustainable. We also are exploring CSL's programs that are designated to support communities. As I mentioned, CSL, our home office, has been through this with a lot of communities. And Reverend Nan recommended a program to us that sounds like it will be a wonderful opportunity for our community, a wonderful resource. So we're gonna, as the board, we're gonna review that, and then we're gonna discuss and keep you informed about how, if we decide to pull that into the community. That it's a workshop that she mentioned to us and that she made us aware of that helps communities in transition. So we will be meeting about that to understand more about it, and then we'll share more of that with you. So thank you all so much. I know this was a lot. I think we'll be putting it possibly in an upcoming newsletter, and it may even be up on our website. But we are committed to transparency with you. We're committed to standing with you. We are committed to practicing the principles. And as Reverend Susan said, we know SLCA will thrive. We know that. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Penelope, who's going to lead us in our closing song.
Thank you so much,
thank
Monique,
you
and
all
thanks
so
to the
much for
board.
your
Yes,
time.
yes, yes,
Thank
yes.
you.
Put your
Thank
hands
you to the
together for
rest
our
of the
board,
board.
our board of trustees. And I know they're going to dance with us and share it out. Come on, Tony. We envision a world, don't go away, who works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. Let's take it up. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. Yeah, we do. We see a world that works for everyone. We see a world that works for everyone. Everyone. Yeah, let's go get some food. Let's go love on each other. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.